Hi, friends, and welcome to The Traveling Golfer. My name is Mike, and right there, as always, my good friend Claudio DeMarchi. He is The Traveling Golfer. Hey, pal.
It's not as always because I'm over here and you're over there.
Hey, why do you sound like that? What's going on?
Well, it's the first time we've done this way.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, in a time of social distancing, we've managed to set up the studio to be at a social distance and in different places in the studio, but still close enough to see each other's heads bobbing back and forth beyond the glass. This is a little different, and mainly because of the guests that we have lined up. Coming up, by the way, later on in the program, we're going to sneak in a little bit of wine chat as we head into the wine cellar. Stick
I'm
around
already
for that.
there.
Yeah, I see that now that you're
I'm
on
already
Zoom.
in the wine cellar.
I'm never going to get you back into the room, am I?
Never.
So we'll head there in a little bit, but I'll tell you this. Please go visit travelinggolfer.net. All kinds of amazing content there, as always, and they have a wonderful YouTube channel. Subscribe to this show wherever you're listening to it, and follow along to some of the most incredible destinations that you will find anywhere golfing is offered. Where are we going today, Claudio?
We're going someplace really special. One of my favorite places in the whole wide world. I've been there.
Where would that
Been there
be?
a few times.
Yeah.
And you've actually talked to some people who have been there.
Yes.
Yes, they have some great golf, no doubt about that.
Wait a second. We must be talking about Thailand.
Oh, come on. I had a whole bunch of hints for you.
Okay, go. But give them to me anyway. You had me at hello. So give them to me anyway. Set this up for us.
Well, it is amazing Thailand, also known as the land of smiles, because whether you're going there and whoever you meet, they're so friendly, you're going to smile regardless.
Beautiful.
It's where everybody tried to copy the female caddy thing. When you go there, you've got some of the best female caddies, and they led the way. And now the rest of Asia and other parts are trying to copy them. But other than that, the destination itself is so diverse. There is so much to do when you get there, whether it's history, culture, the food. And with the food, you're always going to find wine. So
I see. We're tying it back in, as it were.
It's got it all.
All right. So as we head to Thailand today, tell me about our guests and who we'll be talking to and what we're going to chat about today.
Well, of course we're going to talk about golf, but with what's going on in the world today, I think one of the reasons that we're reaching out to Thailand is because Thailand has gone over and above the call in making the destination safe. And with that, we have one of the marketing directors of Tourism Thailand based in LA. So it's probably 5-ish for her. But we've brought Mark Siegel, Golf Asian, owner and founder. And it's tomorrow morning for him compared to us. So we're going to lead it off with Kun Tipi is the marketing director for TAT, Tourism Authority of Thailand in Los Angeles. And she's going to tell us a little bit about the safety protocols that have been put in place, as well as some of the opportunities that currently exist for international travel.
Oh, that's handy because, it's sort of, for us, Claudio, it is a little bit of a mystery at the moment. Where can we go? How can we do this? What is going to greet us on the other side? So to have a little bit of clarity on that, I think is going to be wonderful. And of course, I will recommend go back a couple of episodes and you'll find a discussion between a bunch of journalists that all went to Thailand and had the most incredible journey of their life, all with the theme of golf sort of as the thread. All right, so let's get into it. Let's go to Thailand.
These two organizations actually had so much to do with that between TAT LA and Mark's company. They were the ones who put it all together and made it all happen. We were just there to enjoy.
Well,
And
I have to tell you, I have to say thank you to both of you because it made for a wonderful episode as these guys told the tale of their adventure and just how beautiful it was.
absolutely. And so, Kuhn Tippy, will you take us down the road to the safety protocols and some of the opportunities that are available currently?
Sure, sure. First of all, hello to everyone, and thank you for having me, the Tourism Authority of Thailand, and also Kun Mark, who is based in Bangkok, as you mentioned. I am the marketing manager of Tourism Authority of Thailand, based in Los Angeles, and we work really close with Kun Mark as well as with Ayakto, with many things related to golf and golf experiences that we would love to share to the North American travelers, golf, be US or Canadian. We've been working closely with all parties for quite a while. The reason is that because Thailand is golf paradise. Many of American and Canadian golfers might not know us that well because we are quite far away, but we are very well known and very well accepted, and among golfers from other regions, and also before COVID, attack all of us, we welcome more than 1 million US travelers every year. And that is how we can see how popular Thailand is. So once the COVID reflects, all the travelings, among all of us, Thailand has been among the very first country to taking care of the situation since the beginning of the pandemic, and it happens before it happened here. So we are talking about early January, let's say, and we have been very well and very successful in manage the COVID situation in Thailand. We have pretty low cases comparing to other destinations. And that is why Thailand is still a very highly sought destination, even though we still close the border. We have set up, we call it SHA or SHA, and Kun Mark might be able to elaborate more for the administration involved in golf practices in Thailand, that, it gives every related parties to take care, be it restaurants, golf courses, hotel, DMCs, and what to do, what not to do when we are facing about the COVID situation. So it has been really successful. And I have a really great news to share today that just for the past 2 days, the government has just announced, that we will allow golfers to be quarantined in Thailand for 14 days quarantine, and in the alternative quarantine properties. So it will allow the golfers who stay at the alternative quarantine properties, golf courses that have accommodations attached, to count the 14 days, and they can play golf, within those 14 days quarantine time. So this is the really great news for
Fantastic.
all of us at this moment. So whoever want to seek a trip, those who are snowbird, don't want to face with a severe climate and want to be away from the high numbers of COVID cases in the US. So absolutely Thailand is one of the destinations that will welcome the travelers, the golfers really soon. Also, they will announce the alternative state quarantine properties, golf courses, the accommodations attached very soon, within probably in days or in weeks. So we will know exactly the list of those properties. And I think maybe we can discuss further, what we should do. But in addition to that, I would love to say that 14 days quarantine is still. So that means even though we lessen the restriction, but it's still 14 days quarantine to make everyone safe, the locals safe, the travelers safe. So we want everyone to feel safe and feel happy while traveling in Thailand. Of course, the mass travel, will not happen really soon, but the government is going to start to open the border a bit at a time, and that includes an opportunity for the golfers. Yeah.
I think that's really wonderful because if you think about it, Claudio, we're going to be maybe quarantined here to some degree. I mean, even if you're just in social distancing mode, we're in winter. Where would you I mean, if you could go away and you had to quarantine, why not do it golfing in paradise?
I agree 100%. Where do we sign up?
It's
Let's
very
go.
enticing. It's not like we're getting on a rocket ship and going to the moon. No, we're going to quarantine on a golf course in paradise. Let's go.
But
Uh,
you are already in sort of quarantine. We're at least sort of semi-quarantine up here,
that's
but
true.
we do
Yeah.
have snow on the ground. So
Mhm.
But I will say this: I think it is a wonderful. It's a very smart move on the part of the government because, well, it can't be in mass numbers like you're saying. It does lend itself to marketing from within because if you spend 14 days there doing this, you're going to come back and tell your friends about how wonderful the experience is. You're going to stay longer than 14 days so that you can experience some of the culture and the lifestyle and that sort of stuff. And so this becomes a longer adventure for you. And I think it's very smart because those people, those tales of lore from their adventure and their time in Thailand come back home here. And
Yeah.
we start to hear them.
And let me add a little bit about the visa. So at this moment, everybody requires the visa, a special type of visa. And then, of course, there are quite numbers of documentation that every traveler has to submit to the embassy or the consulate. However, if it's approved, the visa is approved, they'll be able to stay for up to 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
90 days, and then it could be renewable for 3 more times, to total 3 more times. So that means anyone who get this visa will be able to stay in Thailand for up to 270 days to traveling around, golfing, in the region, Chiang Mai, Phuket, or wherever they like.
Okay,
wow.
this does
And
sound
so
like a very good option. I
a
mean,
lot of these hotels and golf courses and all of the tourism industry has pretty much become accredited as a safe entity. And Mark, I understand that Gulf Asian has also fallen under the safe accreditation. Tell us a little bit about that and then take us golfing.
Yeah, okay. Well, like Kuntipi said, that Thailand dealt with the COVID pandemic very, very early. Back in January, it was the first country outside of China to have any COVID infections. And the government immediately shut down the borders and basically stopped all movement within the country. And that lasted about 6 weeks. And after that, we were able to come out with some new procedures, new protocols, new operating systems, including what they call SHA. The health department worked with all different types of businesses to revamp their procedures and processes for handling guests and visitors. So, for example, at the golf courses, this is already back in March, all of them opened completely. They're all open for regular business. Some of the main differences was they went from 7-minute to 10-minute intervals. So there weren't as many golfers being staged on the tees. That actually is a positive thing. So you can get around faster. The payments to the golf courses were done electronically so that we either sent the money by bank transfer or fax or credit card rather than taking cash and meeting people face to face. On the driving ranges, all the range balls were disinfected between use, so they were never touched by more than one player. Single golf carts have been mandatory since March, so you don't share a golf cart with another player. The golf cart's yours for the whole round, and they are disinfected after each round as well. Something interesting for the North American golfers, all golf courses are now playing with gimme circles, about a 1-foot chalk circle drew around the hole. If your ball's within it, you just pick it up. They don't want you going into fishing your ball out of the holes. So,
But wait a minute, you play that way anyways.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. So that actually legitimatizes the way we play. So
this
now
makes
it's
the game
official for
way
everyone.
more
more
appealing.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, who wants to miss short putts? So now it's official, and they call it a safety protocol. So, okay,
Okay, we'll take
whatever you
it.
call it, we'll take it. All right. Also, tee times are now all pre-booked, so you can't just walk in as a visitor and say, I want to play golf. So people know who's coming. They can register the vehicle that's going to come. They can allot the tee time. They can allot the locker. They can make sure that there's no jam-ups at any place during the check-in, check-out process. There's hand wash stations at every hole. At at the hole and at the green. There's alcohol to sanitize your hands on the golf cart, also at every hole and every green. To get into the golf course itself, they're usually locked properties, similar to like they are in private courses in Canada. They, with gates, and you have to pass through some security. So you have to have your temperature taken. You have to sign documents that you haven't been sick, and you have to make sure you pass some basic health screenings just to get on premises. Also, face masks have been and are and continue to be mandatory, although it's not quite as enforced on the course itself. Once you're away from people, there are quite a few people playing without masks, and they just put them on as they get near the clubhouse or near another group. Practice bays at the driving range has been doubled in space. So instead of being 3 feet apart, now they're 6 foot apart. They basically block every other bay. And
that makes people safer in my case on many fronts, actually, not just COVID.
So you don't shank the ball
just
into the
saying,
other guys.
Could be a problem.
Yeah. And the, caddies, obviously, they had been wearing masks, not from COVID, but to protect themselves from the sunshine. So that continues to be the case. They really don't want sun on their face. And now it's just another good reason to practice good mask hygiene. One thing that Kuntipi said, all the businesses are getting safety and health authorized. There'd be a couple of changes for the people who come in and play golf during their quarantine. Some of the changes are all for the better, actually, such as a caddy. Normally, when you get caddies in Thailand, every round you'll have a different caddy. But during the state quarantine, you'll be assigned a caddy from beginning to end. So your caddy will actually help you get to know your game, get to know you, just in case there's any virus transmission. It won't be through the whole troops of people working there. The only person you'll have exposure to is your caddy. The caddies are also handling the clubs at the butt end of the club rather than the grip end. So they'll give you the club by the blade, and you take the club from the caddy by the grip. So the caddy's never touching the grip where your hands come into contact with. They're just touching the blade, which is generally the dirtier part, which comes in contact with the dirt. Hopefully, if you've made a good shot, they'll clean that off you. So a few of the little things like that, actually, in my opinion, are going to make the game more enjoyable and, faster play, less people, dedicated caddies, more health, safety protocols are all good things in general, not to mention during this time now.
Yeah.
And my favorite's the gimme circle, so I've been using that for years. So I'm glad they've implemented our own way of playing golf.
Let's not call it the gimme circle anymore. Let's call it the safety zone.
The safety zone. All right. Just find a new term.
It's a safety thing. Well, this is
the Thailand safety zone is announced and spread to the world of golf, and it's going to be another innovative move by the smiling, amazing Thailand people.
There you
Another
go.
first.
Yeah.
But Mark, your company is quite amazing in the way it services its people when they arrive. You pick them up at the airport, you take them to where they're staying, you pick them up and take them wherever they're going. And I understand, just been reading that your vans have all been sanitized.
Yeah.
Your people have safety protocols. So that's like just another feather in the cap, I think.
Yeah, we're also going through the same processes, all tourism businesses, to make sure all touch points with customers are at a distance and with masks, and any things that are touched mutually is disinfected immediately after use. And we've been SHA certified since July or August, early this summer. So that one, again, will meet the people at the airport. People will be masked with protective gear, bring them to the hotel, get them signed in, dropped off, get them to the rooms. We'll go off premises because we will leave, and only the workers of the golf course will stay for the 2 weeks. Once they get their test, after the first day, they're free to play golf. And then at the end, when they get retested, if they're assuming they're still COVID free, they're free to do anything in Thailand. Go to, like Kuntipi said, go to Chiang Mai, go to Phuket, back to Bangkok, shopping out at nighttime. The whole country is actually open normally. There's no rules in terms of like the number of people in a certain business. We had those, but since there have been no outbreaks for 7 months or so, other than people who are crossing borders, these are all been relaxed. So it's been a nice place to live and continues to be. And we feel very lucky that Thailand's done such a good job to control the virus that now we're able to start to reopen the borders to visiting tourists, and golfers will be the first group to come back.
Oh, it's nice that golfers were the first to come back. That's
What
a
other
good thing.
country? Yeah,
Uh,
it's a good.
Mark, this doesn't feel like a pivot like many countries and many businesses have had to do. This just feels like the reaction time was perfect. The reaction methodology was perfect. The country overall is doing very well, as you say, with their measures, and so to be able to go and spend a couple of weeks golfing, relaxing, and getting ready to do whatever you want in Thailand, it really does kind of make it the first destination open on the planet that you feel comfortable going to.
You'll definitely be safer at a golf course in Thailand than you are at your own home right now.
Yeah.
That's no question about it. And after you finish your 14 days playing golf, you can continue, or if you're ready to give up the game, you can switch sports and go diving or parasailing or anything else you'd like to do. It's
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, at
great
what
environment.
Matt just said, actually, domestic traveling and life in Thailand is pretty much back to normal. So it's I love what Matt said. Being in a golf course is safer, of course. It's less contact. More social distancing. But I believe what people enjoyed Thailand and golfing in Thailand is not only on how we manage the COVID situation, but it has been tremendously efforts that everyone, be it the golf courses or the DMCs or companies like Kun Mark's one, or the government, we're trying to very much to upgrade golf experiences. We have excellent facilities. We are a couple of them are, few of them are still under construction and plan to open very soon. We have one of the best golf courses world rank. We host PGA and LPGA events, and then in addition to superb golf experiences, in addition to that, everybody enjoy food, as you two just mentioned, Thai massage, and visit cultural attractions, temples, palaces, shopping, rooftop experiences. So it's a combination of everything. And one of the most important thing is the Thai hospitality. The Thai people, the Thais are very, very friendly, and that not only make you feel comfortable traveling around Thailand, but you really enjoy golf experiences while you are in golf courses as well, being with friends and then being with caddies, talk with friends at the clubhouse, so you feel like you are at home, even though you're not at home, and then you enjoy golf experiences in a different environments, tropical environment, and then I don't know what to say because I'm working for tourism board, so I have to say good things. But I am a golfer myself, and I have to say that I really enjoy golfing in Thailand for many reasons. What I just mentioned.
My impression is from Claudio and in the previous episode that it really is a slice of paradise. Not just the country and the beautiful locations, but golf specifically there seems to be a slice of paradise. It's done different. There's an element of luxury to it. There's an element of exotic location to it. The way that the golf courses, these guys just described the way that the golf courses feel, and the way that you're treated at them is all next level. And I've only ever heard that from the golfers that we've had on the show. So this is, I think, a really great opportunity for you to break away. So many people are really just under it now. Claudio, you and I talked about this. The mental state of people in North America right now is not ideal. People planned retirements and travel and stuff, and they want to get back to it. And this, I think, is a really, really golden opportunity.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a hike to get over there. It's a 15-hour flight, usually with a connection. But once you're on the ground, I mean, it's quite amazing all you can do. Like the trip that I took with the boys last I guess November, we landed in Bangkok and we ended up visiting 4 different centers. Pattaya, we went up to Kanchanaburi with the bridge on the River Kwai, and Wahin, where we went to a Thai cooking school and played probably 2 of the best golf courses in Thailand, but never did we travel for more than 2 to 3 hours to any one of those spots, whatever direction we took. And the last one was the best. It was a 2-hour catamaran ride across the Gulf of Siam. What a treat that was. So, and there's so many different things to do in each of those centers.
Okay, so now let's get people moving on this, because the one thing that I do sense is that, Thailand is open for golf business. You need to be there and book it. So how is this being done? Mark, over to you.
Well, actually, the first step to go through the Thai embassy or the Thai consulate where the people live to find out the required documents and start putting together any tests that are needed or any statements. And I think Kuntipi has information for North America. Once the reservations are actually made and the approvals given to travel, then we'll take over in terms of deciding on booking of the trip and the schedule, the details, what's included, what's not, where it's going to go to, et cetera, et cetera. But one thing I wanted to mention that Kuntipi said, and you mentioned a little bit, Mike, like Thailand hasn't pivoted or tried to disrupt the travel industry or reinvent themselves. And that's a good observation, because that's exactly true. What's going on here is really doing the same thing that they did before. And there's a good reason for that, is because when, like Claudio came with the group last November, he really wasn't a visitor. He was a guest. And everybody who comes here is treated like a guest. It's like a family member coming to visit. It's not an outside tourist coming. You look at the other countries that people go to, maybe the Caribbean, Mexico, other places in South America. Tourism is tolerated, but the people living there aren't so happy that it's tourists, so then they bring the money. In Thailand, the people are actually proud and happy the people chosen to visit Thailand, so they make them their guest. And that's what I try to explain to other people. Other countries can try to copy what Thailand's done, but it's very hard, because you have to teach people how to be nice. And
Right.
Teaching people how to be nice is not something you go to school and get a degree in niceness. It may take 1 or 2 generations to change cultures.
Yeah.
So maybe by the end of the century, you could have another country trying to offer the same type services. But in the meantime, there's no reason to pivot. It's just wait till the vaccine comes. And in the meantime, start allowing tourists to do activities that are naturally social distant and have very low infection rates. So that's why you see Thailand opening up to golfers as a first step. And it's a very smart move, like you said. And it's incredibly smart move, rather than saying, okay, we'll change to a different industry, or we'll offer some other service, or do something that, no one knows if it's going to work or not. This definitely will work.
Well, that's so encouraging, because I do hope that other countries copy the methodology of safety, even if they can't duplicate the authenticity and genuine sort of kindness of the people of Thailand. And I think that's a great observation to make, because if you are traveling to a place, especially if you have to hunker down for 14 days, you need to know that you're a guest and not just somebody who's entered that country.
Yes, and once you're there, and if your main reason, or if you are a golfer, part of the program that you should build into your itinerary is to take a day off of golf every once in a while and enjoy some of the historic and the cultural. And can we go back to food now? Let's go back to food.
Yeah.
The biggest prawns in the world. I mean, they're as big as your hand.
When they're in their natural habitat, I understand you can ride them. Is that true, Claudio?
Well, actually, it's really tough to beat, after 18 holes, and it's really tough to beat, chilled Singha beer or iced coffee or Thai tea, Thai coffee with a great food at Clubhouse. That is just related to the golf courses only. But there are all kinds of culinary experiences, culinary scenes that the golfers will enjoy in Thailand. And also, I want to mention that, for your spouse or the families or non-golfers who happen to be in Thailand, we have numbers of options for them to enjoy, things, including learning golf in Thailand, going for a golf academy, things like that. Maybe Mark, you share experience for the non-golfers?
Yeah, I was going to suggest the same thing. A lot of groups look at being isolated at a golf course as an excellent way to learn golf, either as a clinic or as a juniors or as newcomers to the game, or mixed together with golfers who are playing at the same time. So that's another group of people who would be very interested to come and would insist to being isolated at a golf course so they can concentrate on improving the game and going home with something that they can keep for the rest of their life.
It's a nice thing for a couple to do where one golfs and the other doesn't, to just come up to speed, because one of the detractors from not golfing as a couple is one is more advanced than the other. So if you spent 14 days kind of dedicated to that cause, you're right. I think that you would come out of it a golfing couple.
Or divorced.
Didn't want to say that one. I was going to leave that one out. But if you end up divorced, at least you're in Thailand. You know what I mean? Like, there is that safety net.
Exactly. So, but even when you're in Bangkok, and if you are a golfer, and if you don't go to the Grand Palace, you don't know what you're missing, because I think they get 20,000 visitors a day. There must be a reason why 20,000 people go there a day.
Yeah, indeed.
And a ride on the river, like to see the market out on the water, and just that whole scenario I don't think there's any place like it.
Well, let's do this. I want to get people. Okay, so Kuntipi, you would suggest that people start with a little bit of information about where they're traveling from and what the requirements would be arriving in Thailand. Can we talk a little bit about that? And then let's get people connected with having a look at some of the options that are out there when they arrive.
Yeah, so as Kumar just said, that everybody needs a visa at this moment, and then you'll need to submit all the documentation to the embassy or the consulate closest to your home or to your city or state. And then the best way to find the information may be for North America travelers, just visit thailandinsider.com, thailandinsider.com. So there'll be information related to the application, visa application, for US travelers and for Canadian travelers. And then there's also a contact numbers or info that if you have additional questions. When you land, because you have to have alternative state quarantine already, prepaid one as a part of the visa requirement. So when you land, the officers will meet you, and then they'll check all the documentations, and they will split you into different vans or whatever, the hotels, the quarantine hotels, or the quarantine golf courses, let's say, will pick you up, and then it will require COVID tests. So they'll give you lists of things to do, what is allowed, what is not allowed. However, it is a very, very comfortable and relaxing experiences as far as all the travelers shared with us. It is not that complex. It is very convenient. As you know, Suvarnabhumi Airport is really big, and there's not that many passengers at this moment. So everybody feel comfortable. Maybe Kumar, you can share how you meet your clients at the airport now.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to get any more information on what's available in Thailand, both golfing, non-golfing, or other experiences, you can look at our website, which is www.golfasian.com. And that will detail lots of sample itineraries, and there's a form to fill out for information. We'll get back to the people either by phone or by email, whatever their preference is. In terms of arrival, when you get in here, like Kuntipi said, the airport is huge. It's meant to handle more than 1 million visitors a month, maybe double or triple that even. And now it's handling, 100th of that. So you get a seat to yourself when you arrive. The 5 people come to help you. It's a nurse, one of the Army people, an immigration person, someone from the hotel that you're going to, and a driver that's going to take you there. All help you with your baggage, all help you check the documents, make any amendments that you need to, and they'll bring you out of the airport individually, or if you're with your wife, with two people together. So it's a very personalized experience. It's like having 5 chauffeurs meet you and pick you up at the airport and bring you to your hotel. It's an amazing experience that only someone who's organized and religious and regimented as Thailand could pull off. It's not like walking to Kennedy Airport or Ontario Airport and there's thousands of people going all different directions. Here you just have a few, and you'll go through the procedure step by step, and it's about 20-30 minutes. Then you're back at your hotel already and arrived.
I haven't wanted to travel this much in a long time, guys. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Well,
Like Claudia can say, last year I saw so many people here, and he's saying there's 20,000 people a day at the Grand Palace. Now there's maybe 200. So you get to see some of these cultural experiences like you'll never be able to see in the next lifetime.
and I won't die in a tuk-tuk.
I would say, as Kun Mark said about the great opportunity to be in Thailand, especially the very first batch of the travelers allowed, or maybe the next 3 months or 6 months. It is not because it is less crowded, as we all know, but many things are remanaged. Beaches, how you would enter the national park, everything is better organized. The nature has revived because basically there's no traveling for at least 6 months, so the ocean, everything looks, I myself want to be in Thailand very soon to see those beauty. And I think it's a great opportunity that if we would be able to travel again soon, we'll be able to enjoy the beauty of the world once again. It's not only about Thailand, but of the world, and enjoy golfing once again. That's the most important thing that I would love to share.
Well, sorry, Claudio, this has been fascinating because, first of all, it's the most enticing thing, as I say, I've heard in almost a year now in the way of travel. But, even aside from us having this reality that we're in at the moment, the opportunity to see a part of the world where you can feel comfortable, safe, welcome, and it has the the flavor of being someplace else in the world, especially at a time where nature is making a comeback. This really does sound like you have to take the opportunity and do it now.
I think we should.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
I think we should.
Guys, this has been a surprise for me that we're going to Thailand. Okay, I'm good.
That's
I don't even need.
Our next show is from Thailand.
For 14 days, we are going to broadcast live from Thailand in quarantine. Claudio and I, not an ideal couple to be quarantining.
That's for sure.
Sure. I would love.
We'll welcome you.
Yeah,
welcome.
Love to welcome you. Yes, definitely.
Well, this has been.
Mark just wants, Mike. I just got to tell you, Mark just wants to get back at me because when we were there last time, remember there was Brian and I took down Jeff and Mark, so he just wants to get back. Now
that we have the safe circle, we'll definitely have a better chance.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you what, I'll golf on Claudio's side and I'll even the score for you. You will kill us. There's nothing he can do that I can't ruin on the golf course. This has been just incredible. I thank you both very much for joining us.
Wait. I just have to say, for all of our listeners, subscribers to the Traveling Golfer, that the current issue of the Traveling Golfer has top 10 reasons, or at least my top 10 reasons for going to Thailand. And they will all be listed there so they can have a quick read. But also both of the links that were mentioned to the ThailandInsider.com and Gulf Asian are there. So if you happen to read it, you can just click it and go.
Nice.
So there.
Thank you.
Very
Had to
good.
get that in.
Thank you for having us as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both.
It's been a
Thanks
pleasure
so
talking to
much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Great day. Bye.
Why did you do that to me? Now, how can I sit here as it snows outside in Toronto? I mean, you're probably going to, if it's snowing here in Toronto right now, you're getting snowed in. What are we doing here? We need to go to Thailand.
We got dumped last week, so let's go.
I
My
know.
clubs are right behind me.
There's
I'm ready.
There's no golf. There's no fishing for you until the ice freezes. We've got a perfect opportunity here.
I don't do that ice fishing shit. There's no way I'm sitting around a hole just to have a drink.
I'll tell you this. I'm not even editing that. You're living with that one. All right, let's go to the wine cellar, friends. As you know, Claudio is not, quite the gourmand, actually, a really good chef, and he does know his wines. He's traveled the world and had an opportunity to try a few things here and there. And very kind of you every episode to take us into the wine cellar to find some good wines, avoid some bad ones, and get some good deals. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about the one that I have in my hand right now, since it's in the evening and it's almost my bedtime. But I am sipping on a nice glass of Irony Cabernet Sauvignon.
Ooh.
And, you know, you can get it in the liquor store for 20 some odd dollars right now. But this just happened to have been sitting in my wine cellar for about 3 or 4 years, 5 years, I can't remember. And it tastes like a $40 bottle of wine. So I would highly recommend that if somebody finds something that they like and it has a good cork, to buy some and be disciplined.
Just
put it away.
Yeah.
Put it away.
There
And
is.
you'll enjoy it that much more.
Okay, look, can we touch on that for 1 second? Because I have put wine away and it just goes to vinegar. That's the cork you're saying?
If it's got a good cork, then and usually what I do is if I find something I like, obviously I have to try it before I know I like it. And if I think that it could be preserved well by, you know, I have a wine cooler and I have a crawl space and I have way too much wine for the average person. But that's has to have a good cork. If it doesn't have a good cork,
It is not going to keep.
it's not going to work.
All right. Well, is that what we've got in the wine cellar today?
You know what? I told you about my challenge with Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
Gooseberries suck. Remember that
Yeah,
one?
I was going to say if we're going down Gooseberry Road, you're not going to be happy.
So I've had a few more Sauvignon Blancs, and you know they were $20 plus, maybe $25 plus, and they all sucked.
Okay, so
However, I tried a $10 Canyon Road out of California,
yeah.
and it was what I would expect it to be. It was light. It doesn't have the big bold flavors of some of the Chardonnays, but at least it tasted like wine, and for $10. So I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
I'm just not a Sauvignon Blanc guy.
I was going to say, I think a couple of things here. You found one that you like that is probably a little bit off the beaten path, and you just don't have the palate for this one particular wine.
Maybe not.
No. Meanwhile,
Maybe
the red that I saw you hold up in that glass right now, it actually reached out and slapped you. I saw that it had some meat to it.
I know. I saw you stick your finger in that glass.
All right, look, where can people find out more about Traveling Golfer? Tell me that.
Well, wait a minute. Just one more, okay?
Okay,
So,
and
it's not going to be wine. It's going to be another bourbon.
Oh,
'Cause-
I'm sorry. I thought we were only doing one wine. We got one wine, one Chardonnay, and one bourbon. Okay, let's get into the cellar, shall we?
So the bourbon was a legend. I never heard of legend before. Talking to the fella at the liquor store, he said, "This is new. You should try it if you like bourbons." And I said, "Okay, what the hell?" He says, "Oh, it's on sale. So for sure, I'll try it. $7 off." I'll tell you, it was the surprise of the month.
Really?
It was probably as close to Woodford Reserve Double Oak, which I absolutely love.
Yep.
And so I would highly recommend it. Legend, Legent.
Legend.
Legend.
Okay.
As
Duly
opposed
noted.
to a legend like you and I are
Well, in our own minds.
in our own mind.
We're legends in our own wine cellars.
Exactly.
We went to Thailand today. Recently, we talked to a whole group of guys that went with Claudio to Thailand. Go back a couple of episodes. You'll find out more about that. They are open for golf business. You can go in quarantine there for 14 days. And
play golf.
How great is that?
Yeah.
All right. So details at travelinggolfer.net. Go check that out. Subscribe to this show if you haven't already, and hit the notification button right there at the top of the right screen. And every time a new episode is available, you will be notified. Claudio DeMarchi, you're the Traveling Golfer. I love you, buddy. We'll catch you next time.
And you covered all the bases this time. I didn't have to do a thing. Bada boom, bada bing.
You really did train me well, didn't you?
Good job, my friend.
We'll catch you next time.